Hello, allies. I am Brandon Jones, and I am joined by Daniel Bloodworth,
Hello.
who you can hopefully hear, and everything is working okay. What's up, everybody? You know, Blood, I was just thinking, it's interesting how our theme, our Easy Allies podcast, Easy Allies main company theme, like exists in two different spots in my brain. There's like, when you hear it before a stream, it's like, okay, here we go. Okay, the theme's going. It's time to put on your game face. Let's do it. And then at the end of the stream, it's like, oh, it's the theme. We made it. You know, like
We made it.
It's like aloha. It's hello and goodbye at the
Yeah,
same time. You know,
it truly is.
there's that. I was just coexisting for a second. I was feeling the relief that I will feel somewhere between 2.5 to 3.5 hours from now when we conclude this community showcase for everybody just tuning in, watching this after the fact or now live on Twitch. This is the Easy Allies Community Showcase. It is our $10 and above tier on patreon.com/Easy Allies. What this means is we put up a post at the end of every month for the next month. So this September 2020, yes, it is September of 2020, post we put up at the end of August, giving our August patrons and our potentially new September patrons a chance to jump in and give us a comment, a drawing, a photograph, a screenshot, a piece of music, or a video that they have produced. There are word limits and time limits that you can check on our Patreon. And then all of you either can participate in that if you would like to, or you can just kick back whenever we produce the community showcase and just enjoy all of the wonderful creative offerings from our community, starting with comments that'll take up about half of the stream, and then we will get into the fun medias later. One of the categories is completely empty this month. Can you guess what that is, Bloodworth? One of our categories is
one
nothing.
of the categories.
Yeah, one of these you're not getting any of.
Hmm.
I'm looking at Tokyo Slim in chat because Tokyo Slim usually shows up with these. No photographs.
Short film improv scat.
No photographs. No
Oh, photographs.
Our only photos we
sure.
have technically are through screenshots in arguably the three most screenshotable games of the middle part of 2020: Animal Crossing, Microsoft Flight Simulator, and Ghost of Tsushima. So very much looking forward to those things. And it's funny because, yes, we do have one VO from our Switch art. But it's funny when you see a picture of Microsoft Flight Simulator. It's like, and here's this town. And you're like, gotta take your word for it. I'm not familiar with that one random town in Austria. But we will do, whether they have fictional worlds or real worlds, we will be doing a bit of globetrotting today. But thank you, Bloodworth, for joining me for the showcase. Thank you to everybody that contributed at this tier on Patreon. And thank you to everybody just hanging out and tuning in. We are kicking off our comments with Bearded Scotsman 86. Hey, Brandon and Blood. This has been a busy month of gaming. My main focus at the start was on Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout. I appreciate the full title. A lot of people just say
Right.
Fall Guys, but that is the official title. We getting a Fall Guys 2 someday? I don't know. I played the game every day for the first week and went on to get the Platinum Trophy. People have actually
What?
done this. I know. I've seen people on Twitter. Was a Shinobi did it, I think, and tweeted out. He was like, "Oh, there's those 5 crowns in a row." It's like, how in the world?
Right.
How do you do it? How do you want to do it? How do you put that on a to-do
I think it's
list?
like less than 0.5% of people have that trophy.
It's insane. So yeah, that's indeed a flex. The hardest part being win 5 times in a row. I had a 4-win and lost on the final. Multiple 3 streaks, losing on team games. Finally got the 5 wins by quitting out when I was going to lose to keep my streak going.
Oh.
Yeah, that does kind of sour it a little bit. Kicking off the showcase with news that you hate to hear. Got 2 wins, had to quit once. 2 more wins, 2 quits, and a win to get the trophy. I know it isn't the way they wanted the trophy to be unlocked, but I went with it as is. I was done with the game, and I wanted to move on. I moved on to Hitman 2 and finished all the DLC trophies. At least you're honest, Bearded Scotsman. I appreciate that a lot. The trophy list is so big, they had to split it into 2 lists, as around 128 trophies is the maximum.
Wow.
Hitman 2 is 146 in total. Not a hard completion overall, just time consuming. A fun game that I would recommend. Always love people reaching out, especially on the showcase, to let us know how hard platinums are, because I ain't getting no platinums. I'm gonna be playing a lot of Avengers past when I turn in my script for review, most likely next week. But no desire whatsoever to platinum that sucker. A fun game that I would recommend, this Hitman 2. Each weekend, I work toward my completion on the new LEGO Ninjago movie video game with my son. He is 7 and enjoys working together.
Completion
he always
on
gets
one of
excited.
those?
Yeah.
Oh
Although,
my.
as much as I love LEGO games that are geared towards like my own interests, I'll play any LEGO game, man. That was the thing about Dimensions. Just like, sure.
Sure.
I got Adventure
but
Time? Let's do it. I watch this show. Let's
completion
go.
on those is a lot.
I think even Amanda, who's a massive Harry Potter fan, both years 1 through 4 and 5 through 7, she was like, "That's fine, we're good." Once we hit credits, she's like, "I'm like, but we unlocked all these characters, all the dark wizards. We can go back." And she's like, "We're good." He is 7 and enjoys working together. He always gets excited when we get a trophy. Finally, I've been enjoying my time with the new season in Apex Legends. Still a very enjoyable battle royale. Hope all of you in chat and the allies are well. Love and respect, Bearded Scotsman 86. Also appreciate a good capitalization, a good proper capitalization. Some people can get pretty funky with their grammar selection in their post for the showcase, and I'm like, I gotta read this out loud. Like if it's all lowercase, like it just messes with my brain a little bit. So Bearded Scotsman 86 capitalizing battle and royale, I very much appreciate. Sarah Imshog, greetings, Blood and Jones. Hope you are doing well. No artwork this month since I'm continuing my work on the webcomic and coming to the decision of redrawing the line art using a new brush and updating character designs for the first 3 episodes. Fun. I keep telling myself that it needs to be done since I've been secretly hating how I've done the line art and really like how well it came out in episode 4. Consistency is important, people. I've also been at work drawing up the Drawtober prompts that I got from the community. You heard right. I'm not going to use the Inktober this year since the creator of the hashtag has now been caught plagiarizing from a black artist. Oh. As someone who has had their work plagiarized before, I have zero tolerance for those that do. Now for something a little personal. Before we get into that, plagiarizing seems like so much work. I know that's like right? The opposite of it, but it's like it seems like I plagiarized when I was in like 5th grade, like I got like the encyclopedia. This is before the internet, so all I got is the encyclopedia, and I'm just like, yeah, they wrote that well, just to, maybe like move that sentence around or something. But it wasn't just a copy paste job. Like you actively have to like strategize. It's like a heist that's just not worth doing.
It's funny that you say that because particularly when you were in school, like you couldn't just copy and paste. Like you'd have to like actually take a book. Right. And write it out or type it out on a typewriter. Right. If you're going through that amount of work, you might as well write it yourself.
I have to admit, my report I wrote in 3rd grade about hamsters, some of that might have been taken from official publications. It feels better now. I finally got that off my chest. But yes, that is terrible. And I think I had heard about that, but I have not looked into that. 3 weeks. Sorry. Now for something a little personal. 3 weeks back, 2020 hit me. My dad was sent to the hospital where it was discovered that he has liver damage and it's irreversible. He stayed there for 2.5 weeks and came home even better than when he left. He'll be taking medication for the rest of his life, and he has said that he's going to work at taking better care of himself, which is all I can really ask for. During this whole time, I've been keeping my nose to my work, and being in chat during streams really helped keep my mind in focus. So I want to thank Easy Allies, my fellow mods, and the community for helping me get through this difficult time. Love you all. Hope everyone is staying safe out there. Wear a mask. Wash your hands. Black Lives Matter. Much love and respect. Sarah Imshog, a.k.a. Sarah Knight. Yes, I hope that is going well. Cesar Villa, hello, Blood and Jones. August was an unusual month for my gaming, meaning that I tend to be very methodical about how I choose one of those words you want to put way too much work into. There's got to be another syllable in there. But this month, I just let go. Next game in my backlog is Xenoblade Chronicles, but after spending 4 months with Breath of the Wild, I didn't want to jump into another multi-month adventure right away. Yeah. Those are two rough games, I think, to do back-to-back. So I've been playing some re-releases of classic games. I got the Mega Man X collection on the PS4 on a sale a few months ago, mainly because I've never played the games released on Sony platforms. But wouldn't you know, I haven't touched those yet, and have just played the SNES ones. Also, not sure why I got the urge of press the share button on the PS4 controller, and have been streaming my playthrough on Twitch. But turns out, Sunday morning streams with neither a camera nor mic does not attract viewers, but still has been a fun experiment, mainly because I get so self-conscious every time I fail. Doesn't really matter, nobody is watching. I don't want to fail in front of my non-existent audience. On another note, the wife got the Castlevania collection some time ago, and after checking the trophy list, I realized we hadn't beat any of the games on it, so I picked that up once again with the intention to get the platinum. It's not supposed to be that hard. All the trophies are bound to finishing each of the games, but then again, beating any Castlevania is no walk in the park. And since I'm talking about Castlevania, I think I have mentioned before how I got into the series because the wife introduced me to it very early on in our relationship. And I like the influences coming from her. In one of our first dates, Symphony of the Night came up, the only one I had played, and I blew her mind when I told her there was an inverted castle that she had missed. So we played it together shortly after. A couple of weeks ago, that Castlevania itch came back to her, and she decided to get it for her PS4, even when we already had it for the PS3. I've been there. We spent the last 2 weeks playing it with my cousin, and her mind was also blown when we got to the inverted castle, and she realized that we were only halfway done with the game. That's what, for some reason, that seems like, to me, where we were at with the PS1. Like, I remember getting the 4 crests in Resident Evil, and being like, whoa, what a game. You know, and then like going to the door and being like, all right, final boss time. And I put him in, and then like the door opened up, and then I go out to the greenhouse, and it's like that's a third of the game, dude. It was like, whoa, this game keeps going, and like, you know, getting multi-disc Final Fantasies, like what's happening right now? I think we all had completely wacky conceptions of like how long games were supposed to be. So
I'm pretty sure my first time in Symphony of the Night, I had no idea about the inverted castle.
But it was still amazing, you know. Like you finished that game and you weren't like, oh, I'm missing something, or like, you know, judging by those other action games I play in this generation, this was exceedingly short. We were all like, woo, great game. Next, we spent Symphony of the Night is truly one of the greats, and that's it for this month.
Says, you mean there's another 8 badges?
Yeah, I mean, that was, you know, going into the greenhouse. Yeah, it's just one third of the game.
Yeah, but no, he's talking about Silver Squad.
Oh, for Silver Squad. Oh, right. Thank you. Well, I mean, it's one thing if you find out a game is longer than you think it's going to be. It's another thing when you find out a stream is going to be. Because most games, you don't have to get up and go to a parking space and put a key in a door and go upstairs to a special room. I hope you and your families are doing well. The world is such a crazy place right now, but having these monthly streams where the community shares their talent and passion around gaming does help get a sense of normalcy even during the craziest of situations. Estamos en contact, Caesar. Thank you, Caesar. Brandon K. Gann, the 2 real things of note in gaming for me happened in August. Gamescom and my first playthrough of, and we got blood here, Deus Ex Mankind Divided. Nice. The bulk of what I'll talk about will be Deus Ex, as I just finished the main game, the 3 DLC missions, and an interesting mode called Breach. Aha, I remember Breach. Last month I said Human Revolution...
You can say it's an interesting mode now, but oh my gosh.
Yep. Last month I said Human Revolution was pretty good after enjoying my time. I wanted to try the sequel. Overall, I don't like Mankind Divided as much. To start with the positives, being on the current gen has noticeable improvement in its look over the prior game, and Prague is a more interesting setting than Human Revolution's Detroit and China. Also, my major critique of being forced to play a certain way at times was addressed, and I greatly appreciate being able to play how I wanted from beginning to end. And, to echo the praise I said last month, I really enjoy the conversation system, though it doesn't look as nice here. Also, finding Portal's companion cube in a basement was equally bizarre and delightful. However, the reason why I'm not as high on Mankind Divided is with the exception of a couple side quests, many of the narratives weren't as interesting as almost everything in Human Revolution. So much so, I felt many of the quests, especially the main plot, felt muddy, and by the conclusion, it didn't feel satisfying. Sure, it's pretty easy to identify the main bad guy halfway through, which for a game all about conspiracy and manipulators in the shadows, this isn't really ideal. The problem is the story didn't leave an impact, plus there's a couple of plot holes. In the other mode, Breach, you complete various challenges where you need to download data, take out a certain amount of enemies, or accomplish another goal, and once you reach a prerequisite amount, a timer starts where you need to reach the spot you spawned in or you fail. There's potential and fun to be had, but its Achilles heel is the exponential difficulty spike the longer you play. After you complete a challenge, the AI automatically gets better in one of 3 areas: damage, defense, and other buffs. This eventually means, watch me playing with my hands, I do this when I read VO too. That's a key one. Whenever I list to do the fingers, it just helps to put a little emphasis on it. This eventually means you can't make a dent, and they'll eliminate you in about 3 or 4 shots. Eventually, you'll run out of ammo, not have the proper equipment, and with the booster pack system, you can't purchase what you need to keep playing new stuff. Take out the modifiers and booster packs, and this could have been the best thing about Mankind Divided. Could it have been? Could it have been, Blood? Do you think there are tiny things they could have done to Breach to make you be like, oh, this Breach, you got to get in on this. Not even Huber like Breached, right? Because Huber's a big Deus Ex fan.
I don't know if you even tried it. Like it's just one of those kind of modes, man. It's strange, and I feel like Avengers is like maybe better about this, but we'll see when you get through your review. But it feels like Square Enix West continues to do this thing where they want to make a single player game into like a multiplayer game. Like they, multiple Tomb Raider games had multiplayer modes that nobody cared about.
Yeah.
Deus Ex, they shoved this breach mode in rather than like actually putting out the complete original story that was meant to be in that game. And yeah, now Avengers, it's like campaign seems cool, and then the multiplayer is like, maybe you're into it. I don't know.
I'm into it, but and like when they first announced it, it kind of sounded cool because Breach was so different. Visually, it was so weird, and it kind of had like a Blood Dragon vibe. It was like, oh, this will be neat. Mm-hmm. Like, you're so serious in the campaign. Your decisions are so important. It's like, yeah, at the end of this, just run around and have fun in this extra game. But it just did not. I mean, I haven't touched anything in the series, so I hear things. To close, Gamescom's O&L was decent, though not as good as the PS5 reveal stream. I did appreciate seeing Doom Eternal's DLC and Crash Bandicoot 4, but it was the Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart demo that has me hyped. With the announcement of launch window coupled with Halo Infinite's delay, the PS5 is now pulled ahead of the Series X, and which one I'll get first, though still not at launch. Hard to finally make that decision without a date and a price, but it may be easy, if maybe one gets delayed or one's way after the fact. Jesse Blue. Hi, Jones. Haha. Didn't say anything to Bloodworth. Between equipment issues and an uncooperative family, I do not have an audio file to submit. I guess this month you'll have to do the honors and read my comment for me. I love the slow dig on the family. You can imagine Jesse trying to make it happen, but the family holding back. Greetings, allies in chat. I hope everyone is well, and not just physically, but emotionally. The lockdown has been quite stressful and has taken its toll on a lot of people. I have been forced to stay home like you guys, quite the contrary, but I still miss human physical contact. Jesse's out there making plays. I thrive on hugs, and I'm feeling very depleted right now. Hopefully, as restrictions are lifted and if a vaccine comes before the end of the year, we can begin to feel comfortable with the thought of spending holidays together and our friends and families again. For now, I'll have to be content with the virtual hugs from my online pals. My parents are now officially in our bubble because we need a babysitter, man. Forget about it. And my dad's not the biggest hugger in the world, but like every time they're over before they leave, I'm just like, sorry, Dad. You're getting a gigantic hug. I gotta hug somebody. As much as I love Sophie, it's not quite the same. I wanted to start this month by thanking Bloodworth for the recent Ori, A Musical Perspective with Gareth Coker. Nice. This interview was perfect to share with my daughter, not only because she wants to pursue music composition for media in college, but the guest actually attended a school she has on her shortlist. We appreciated how in-depth the discussion was and how the references to the pieces of music mentioned had clips of the game behind the discussion. Hashtag JonesEdit 10 out of 10. Swish. I'm glad I got a little nod there. She took down Mr. Coker's information because if she should have questions or a project where she has to contact someone in the industry, he would be a great point of contact. And it seems like from the interview, Blood, he's thrilled to hear from people.
Yeah.
At the end of the interview, he's like, let's do it. Give me tough questions. None of this softball nonsense. Like, oh, okay. I won't have to Xerox stuff. With everything you do behind the scenes for the business side of Easy Allies, not to mention your podcast appearances and your monthly Blood Pact game and discussion. All right. When you randomly pop up in a preview or review or one of these videos, it reminds me how far above and beyond you go to bring special treats to the viewers. And it makes me want to ask, when do you sleep? I also wanted to thank you guys for listening to my suggestion about bringing on more shout-out tier sponsorships. I felt really bad I had to lower my pledge, but I was glad to see 2 people move in where I vacated. Hopefully, as the economy begins to return to normal, people will up their pledges again. I would like to make one more suggestion. I think you could capitalize on a golden opportunity. I know in the past you had a $2 tier, and have mentioned you don't want to make a new tier if you didn't have something that you could offer. I would like to propose the return of the $2 tier, and you could call it Double Down on Dawn. I think Dawn has already doubled down in the last couple months, but everyone loves Dawn. For just $1 extra a month, you could give a couple days early access to any special shows Dawn produces. There could be 3 shows, there could be 5, you never know. But the risk reward for that $1 to get even a couple days early access would be worth it. The recent Don't Skip is a great example, out on paternity leave, and he's still dropping shows on us. Dawn content, I was cutting podcast on paternity leave. Dawn content is the brass ring of Easy Allies. You never know when it's going to pop up, but when it does, you feel like $1 million. Thanks for everything that you do. I hope when all the COVID lockdowns are over, we can get together without fear of making each other sick. I am a very affectionate person, and I need some hugs. Love and respect, Jesse Blue.
Yeah, to answer the questions, so I generally sleep a bit after, usually a bit after 2 to 3. Tends to be the time that's most. There are times that I'm up later or go to bed earlier, but 2 to 3 in there, and then get up. Getting up is actually the more variable thing because it just sort of depends on embargoes.
Right.
Like that video is going up at 6 a.m. Like, I guess I'm waking up at 6 a.m. So
I did, yeah. We had an appointment this week that I thought we weren't sure if it was 10:15 or 10:30, and I was like ready by 10:15, and it wasn't until 10:30, and I sat at my desk for 15 minutes, like, what do I do? It was like I literally got up and just like ran to my desk, like, I'm ready. I beat Avengers last night. What's going on? Yeah, I'm way down. We will discuss that with Dawn. I don't know if Dawn getting one show from Dawn, one special show doesn't necessarily happen every month. So.
I do hope Patreon finds a way to address this, but the way that they had changed the way that tiers work slightly behind the scenes, and so now adding a new tier is like a day's worth of busy work. Because I have to go through all of the old Patreon posts and enable them for that new tier that I just created, post by post. So, yeah, it sucks.
Morgan Mohala. Let me pick the questions. Hello, Jones and Bloodworth. For my community showcase post, I would like to have Brandon interview the guest with an assortment of broad-ranging questions related to life and video games. Here's a list of 10. Please pick 5 that you like, and feel free to skip or replace any unsavory or outlandish questions with a different question from the list. Love and respect, Morgan Mohala. Number 1, too outlandish. Number 2, having been in the video game industry for so long, being at Game Trailers and EZA and other places, is there a corporate or industry position that you would be able to transition to if the need arose, possibly at Nintendo? I don't know if this is a shout out to the ongoing bit. You can feel free to answer this one seriously.
Yeah. No, because, I mean, somebody brought this up in the comments and people were like, it's just a meme or whatever. But yeah, I mean, that was one of the things when Game Trailers shut down and none of us knew what the crap we were going to be doing. And we thought Easy Allies was just going to be like, you know, after school project or whatever. Yeah, I mean, I did apply for a position at Nintendo in the Treehouse, where my old boss from Planet GameCube would have been my new boss, you know, and I interviewed for it while I was at GDC, you know, and I just didn't get that call back because somebody else, you know, was just slightly more interesting than me, whatever. So yeah, so like that is, I mean, I think my old friend has like gotten a promotion since then, you know, so it's like I have that if I ever want to, you know, just like pester him if I had to. But yeah, and then there's PR jobs, of course, which don't really interest me that much, but could work, and other like analyst type positions and that kind of thing. And then I mean, one of the difficulties of, you know, quote unquote content creation in the modern age is, you know, basically like, you know, when we were Game Trailers, it was us. Like we were doing what we were doing. IGN and GameSpot did a little bit of what we were doing, and basically we're catching up. But then what happened over the years is that like all of us kind of got shut out by like PlayStation Blog, and them having their own video teams and their own previews and their own impressions. It's like they're just going to tell you everything up front. And of course, they have the exclusives because they are PlayStation.
Right.
So, and then like Chris Kohler and stuff, like the Digital Eclipse, you know, those guys doing historical work. I don't know if that would be a great fit for something like that, but, you know, potentially, I don't know. But I'm not out there looking or anything right now, so it's hard to say beyond that.
As far as roles for me, stay-at-home dad looking really attractive nowadays. Really, really. I submit my resume, waiting to hear back. Number 3, completely unsavory. Number 4, if the wonderful Brandon Jones needed to step away from EZA and a power vacuum was created, what would you be willing to do to secure power for yourself or the one you believe should lead the group? So now who is that? What are you willing to do?
The power vacuum is funny because your power essentially means that you have to do all of this really crappy, boring work with budgets and contracts and, you know, and bank accounts and all this stuff. So like, you know, I don't know who's going to want to do that.
Ultimate power. Wait, my to-do list. You're like, that's how it rolls. Number 5, what video game or series do you feel you have the most intimate knowledge of? And could you provide a hyper-specific example? I think you did this recently on a Q&A or something. There was some factoid you dug up.
Oh,
Could be a
I,
game or a series.
it would probably be either Zelda or Metroid, I would think, off the top of my head. Um, but
Give me
I don't
hyper
know. I mean,
specific.
Damiani's definitely got, a leg up on me with Zelda. Um, but I think there might be some things that we disagree with. But then he's read all these other like more obscure interviews and things. So
So can you provide a hyper specific example, or are you?
a hyper specific example. What's a hyper specific example? Um, I do like that there was like was it Metroid Prime 2 or 3 had they had like a joke to like the Metroid Dread, which was like a rumor back in the day that people had been passing around
Oh,
online.
Samus v Dread.
And
Oh.
so there were no. There's just it was just like, so I think it's like supposed to be a DS game or a GBA game, and people like said that, Metroid Dread, it's out there, and Nintendo's working on it. It's kind of like
Oh, it's just the name of a Metroid game,
yeah.
or okay.
And so I think they kind of put a nod to that in like one of the nod one of the journal entries.
There you go. That is hyper specific. I think it qualifies. Number 6, assuming that time, access to people, money, and resources were not an issue, what would your dream EZA project be? The safest question, I think.
Oh, if I didn't have to worry about anything.
You got to worry about nothing.
Um, Dream project. Well, there's one I won't get too into because it's been so backburnered that I haven't touched it I haven't really touched it ever. But it was like I had an idea like 3 years ago.
It's a good idea.
I've even thought about like maybe I should pare that down and make a smaller version of that idea. But then, yeah, I mean, probably just more music stuff. Like I, kind of went in that direction with the Gareth Coker thing. It just there's not only time and budget issues, which budget isn't that much of an issue, but the uncertainties of the YouTube copyright system make me nervous to do those things.
Blood, what's fun about working on music? I mean, I do this in reviews all the time, but working on the thing for Gareth, you had a lot of suggestions. Sometimes he specifically would mention a track, and I'm like, I gotta find this track, I gotta find the clip. But sometimes I had a little bit of room to be like, oh, okay, what should we just listen to an action track? Maybe we should change it up. I love literally judging a book by its cover, judging a piece of music by its waveform, just opening up the entire thing and being like, nah, it's just a bunch of little bumps. Like, what is this? What is this droning repetitive nonsense? And like, of course, it's written for a very specific part of the game that I'm sure works perfectly. But like me as somebody editing an exciting video, it's like, I can't work with this. What is this? Come on, Gareth. Also, tracks that have like a soft opening. It just kind of fades in. It's like, no, we need to start triumphantly. Number 7, extremely outlandish. Number 8, what is something about your job that you wish people would understand or appreciate more?
Okay.
How many YouTube comments you have to read? How about that?
I
think
yeah, there's nothing to appreciate in that. It's just obsession. I have to stop myself from a lot of that stuff. Like this week is a perfect example of me just like I'm just spending too much time worrying about people talking about things, and I should stop.
Yep.
Blood, I think it's just that coordination of just getting something done and going through the process of approvals and just like the beginning to end of like reaching out to a person, getting the code, getting it to the right person, getting all the stupid things straight in terms of like when it's allowed to go up, and then and then I think something like a shot log, it's like it's more very hyper specific to me, but like I will put a couple hours into a shot log sometimes.
I feel bad. I think about this, but I feel bad every time we put up a review and it's like written by Michael Huber, video edited by Brandon Jones. That's it. The only 2 people who worked on this video. Bye. It's like, right. Sure. Script supervised, code achieved, PR handled.
I definitely rip up some people's scripts, and I do not really, I don't try to take any credit for that, but yeah. Brett, and anyone's scripts look pretty different before and after I get them.
And unfortunately, 9 is unsavory and 10 is outlandish. So that's it. Those are the 5 that we're picking. James Davey, greetings, Brandon and Blood. By the time you read this, I'll have turned 28 and am celebrating by buying Creeks and Beyond Blue. Does Blood have any indie recommendations from this year that I should check out? Indie recommendations.
Yeah, it's
Exo
funny
One's
because
free on Steam right now. The prologues, that's fun.
anything that I could recommend, I've generally recommended it already. Yeah,
On those other shows, I just watched the showcase.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing. Like, like a lot of my frame traps have been like, Ben is like, you want to be on frame trap this week? I'm like, crap, what's on my list? What have I played?
Yeah.
But
kudos to, I mean, we were on frame trap the last episode, and you brought some interesting titles that I was not familiar with. So
yeah, I did like Roki. So definitely, if you're into point and click adventures, Roki is a one to check out.
I am always thirsty for games to try out. I don't know if I should say bloodthirsty, but I would like to know what he has enjoyed from the indie scene this year. I, like many others, have been addicted to Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout, also going for the full title. Nice. Since it released a month ago, I feel like there are several metaphoric nods to capitalism within it, such as the way 60 players rush to the finish line and try to beat out the competition, as well is how everybody looks, behaves, and plays in the exact same way. I don't know whether I'm a conspiracy theorist or whether there are capitalistic undertones in Fall Guys. Can't help but compare Bloodworth to those wilderness giants from Skyrim. I hope this comparison isn't shocking to read, and that Blood finds solace and gratification in knowing he can feel at home wielding a huge boomstick and use it to smite his foes and team rocket them skyward into oblivion. I also wonder how Blood felt about The Witcher attaching his namesake to its second DLC expansion, Blood and Wine. Fantastic Witcher news today. Witcher coming to next gen, because I never played Blood and Wine, so it's like, I guess I'll have to play all of it again. I need that lead up to Blood and Wine anyway, and it's all included, all the extra. So 2 expansions and what else? They said like, oh, everything is included. Like,
well, they had a lot of mini DLCs, like like literal horse armor and stuff.
Okay, stuff like yeah. But cool that it's. I love the whole package idea, especially for something I've been putting off. Who am I kidding? I'm not going to make the time. I would like to know what this comment is all over the place. I would like to know what Blood's feelings are about the F1 games. I've played most of them since the original F1 on PS1, and I believe F1 2012 is the best in the entire series thanks to an extremely polished presentation and the epic music. I am dismayed about recent entries though when it comes to classic car content, and I'm starting to believe gamers would benefit from an entry that encompasses F1's history, including most, if not all, the cars, teams, and tracks. Simply adding 5 or so classic cars every year just isn't enough, and the feature doesn't seem fully realized. I have to give props to the Studio Liverpool version of Formula 1 2001 for making crashing so fun. Did you crash a lot in that game?
It's basically a different series at that point, but yeah. Because I want to say the first Codemasters one was 2009 or 2010. There was definitely an F1 2009, but I'm trying to remember what that was as robust as the 2010 game. But yeah, F1 is an interesting history for me because I've had like an up and down arc. So I had no interest or experience in F1 until Codemasters started working on it. And then obviously I had like a Codemasters E3 booth tour or something like that, seeing whatever other games they had as well as F1. And I was really impressed with some of the things F1 was doing, particularly with things like weather. And so then I got into F1 and I reviewed the games for a couple of years, and I got into actually watching F1 back when I was at my old roommate's place and I had free cable. And 1 year, the inaugural year for the Austin track, Codemasters actually brought me and Rich Brown out to that race, and so I was able to get a tour of the Lotus pit zone and be up in the one of the boxes for a little bit and just like spend that whole weekend there and kind of see what it was like. And then as the years went on, both keeping up with the races themselves and trying to keep up with the game just became such a time sink that I just kind of slowly drifted out of them. What was funny is for a long time, my wife kept watching the races, and so she would like update me or tell me what was going on. She was just like, she's very into it as well. But yeah, then eventually, like now I just feel kind of disconnected, and so like the past 2 years I've just sort of checked in on the beginning of the career modes, and I've liked what I've seen in the past 2 years, but I don't have quite as much of the in-depth as I had in those first few years I discovered it.
Well, that's cool that Formula 1 2001 had crashing in it. James loved turning his Minardi around and parking horizontally on the final straight of the Canadian GP and watching the field of AI helplessly pile up and crash all over the place. Some of the cars even pirouetting through the air in a symphony of debris and carnage. Timeless pleasures like these are sorely missing today. Lastly, can either of you think of GT reviews for bad games that contain some amusing illustrative moments? I found a funny one involving the Iron Man 2 review where Tony Stark just vanquished a Russian general who expires in front of Stark in War Machine, with Tony offhandedly saying, "Okay, that was the most awful thing ever," then walks away. I can't seem to find GT's Leisure Suit Larry box office bust review on YouTube. That was my favorite. And I'd like to be able to find that. Thank you once again for all of your amazing content and passion, especially throughout these perilous times. Love and respect. Yeah, a lot of that stuff's gone.
Yeah, so the stuff that's gone missing is definitely a bummer.
Somebody messaged me there, and they were just like, just on YouTube watching some Trailer Academies, and I'm like, you are? Where are those? Like, I didn't...
Yeah, those were in the IGN upload, I think.
Oh, okay. Watch me some Trailer
yeah, basically, for anyone that's not aware, after Defy shut us down, IGN came in and were like, we want all that stuff. And like, part of me was like, man, if we had just been shut down like 4 months earlier, like so much more stuff would have been preserved. Because we had gone through this, Matt Blair had gone through this awful process of, having to deal with Viacom's convoluted systems and Defy's convoluted systems and trying to migrate everything over. And Defy was basically like, well, we don't want to use that much server space. So we had to like pick and choose certain things to keep. And so a lot of stuff kind of got lost in the mix. But then after Defy shut us down, IGN came in and picked up what was left, what Defy actually had, and then uploaded all that stuff to the YouTube channel. Which is really strange. When I went through that stuff, I was looking for things of mine to download and keep on my hard drive or whatever, because there were things that I was like, how did this survive? And some other thing not survive. Yeah.
I don't know if it was funny. I remember Spore got a low score. I remember we were like shocked by how like brief Spore was. I remember that being...
I mean, Vampire Rain and Pocket Pool were both funny ones, but that I did when I first started at GT, but I don't know that either one of those is out there anywhere.
Vampire Rain. Megan Linhart. Also, I saw chat earlier, saying I hadn't played Final Fantasy IX. I played Final Fantasy IX twice. I don't know what you're talking about. Maybe I need to replay it. Maybe I need a full playthrough that, if that was spoken of before, but get completely out of there with the Jones hasn't played Final Fantasy IX rumor. Greetings. I finally made my grand return to the showcase. This is Megan Linhart. And sorry it is not more exciting, but going through quite a lot of financial stuff since COVID laid me off from my job. But I'm back, and I'm sorry this is not going to be the most amazing submission, but I'd like to continue where I left off and finally tell you about my trip to the Reptile Expo in April. I know it's been a while, but it was so cool and a highlight of this pretty rough year. The place was pretty packed, but they had so much stuff from the reptile stands to tons of tanks for sale. I really was looking into getting a corn snake for my first snake because they are so easy to maintain and they are good eaters. So I made way over to the corn snake breeder and they were all so tiny. I'm sorry, I just I need to get that out of my system. I already had the enclosure all set at home, so I wanted a snake that was big enough to utilize the space, and the first snake I laid eyes on was the perfect size, and in such a pretty pattern. He had thick red, black, and white stripes all down his body. I asked if I could hold him, and he was so friendly, I knew he was the one. Close your eyes and imagine a puppy. The story's fine. So $200 later, he was all mine. It's been officially 4 months since I've had him, and I couldn't ask for a cooler pal. I named him Spike after Buffy. Nice, because his colors reminded me of him. He's a milk snake and very sweet and gentle. Maybe a mild snake? I don't know if a milk snake is a thing. While we were there, I loved... Milk snake? Okay. We said they were a different snake earlier. Who knows? I don't know nothing about no snakes. While we were here, I loved looking at all the boas. They look so tiny, it's so hard to believe that they get as huge as they do. My brother and his girlfriend also adopted a leopard gecko named Issy. We didn't want to stay too long after that because of COVID and the place being as packed as it was, but it was such a fun time. We both love our reptiles, and this is something I've always wanted to do since I was a kid. I'm just happy I can do it now. Can't wait to send in some pictures of Spike in a future submission. That's all I wanted to do for this submission. Sorry it's not more detailed. I'm kind of writing this last minute, but the next one will be more thought out. Have a good one, everyone. Thank you, Megan Linhart. Nice. And I do not want to discourage your purchase. I have respect for it. I am just absolutely terrified of those damn things. How do you grab them? I mean, it's like you say, you're like, oh, I held him. We cuddled. It's like, how do you cuddle a snake? I'm not looking for someone to teach me. But that, not only, I mean, it's wonderful to look back at an event like that, but wonderful that you were able to find a pal and bring the snake home. And we could all use more companions right now, so it's good that you got a companion in that snake. Brittany Fuller, hi Brandon and Blood. After a very long time forgetting or not feeling like I had anything to share, I was finally going to make a community showcase post about how I got to participate in beta and alpha testing Spiritfarer. Very cool.
Oh, nice.
I'd gush what a beautiful game it is, laugh about some of the bugs, and recount the thrill of having my name in video game credits. However, as I prepared to write my post, I got a horrifying text from my mom. All it said was, Amber was attacked and set on fire today. Amber is my younger sister. Someone set her on fire while she was walking her dogs. I originally wrote out a detailed post about the series of events that took place Wednesday morning based on how they were originally recounted to me, but I revised it. I realized this story is awful enough without a full retelling of the events that took place. Easy Allies has been gracious enough to share my Twitter post. Blood was very instrumental in that, so kudos to Blood. With the link to the GoFundMe for her medical expenses. We've already received a tremendous amount of support and are completely astonished at the response. I know things are tough for everyone right now, and there are so many worthy causes needing support. So if a donation is not within your means, I understand. Please at least consider signal boosting my sister's story in case someone you know is able to donate. Even the smallest amount adds up when people contribute. We see it every day on Patreon. To donate or share, you can search Help Amber Fuller, Fuller, Recover from Burn Attack on GoFundMe. Check the Easy Allies Twitter account for their post, or look for this post on Patreon as I'm placing a direct link to the fundraiser in the account. And I will just I have it right here, actually. I will drop that into chat.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, this is just shocking, basically. Like, there's no other word for it. Like, it's so random and out of the blue with seemingly no motivation.
And, it's one thing to have, a health issue come up, to have something, like one day we had Grant Imahara and the next day we didn't, and that was no lead up to that. It just happened, so suddenly. Another thing like this, it's an attack, something that is preventable if people just wouldn't be, aggressive in this way and horrible in this way, and something that just, like you said, you have a text and all of a sudden your world changes. Thank you, Jones and Blood, for reading my comment, for your direct hand in signal boosting the story already, and thank you to the Easy Allies community who immediately stepped up to spread the word, contribute, and send a wave of positivity our way. Thank you for being as generous, supportive, and amazing as I've always known you all to be. Mwah. You're honestly the best community around, and I'm so proud to be a part of it. Love and respect, always, Brittany Fuller, aka Logic__error. And resub in there, 47 months. Thank you, Logic Error. Yes.
Thank you to everyone that's supported however you can. Yeah.
And you just kind of hit that wall where you're like, I'm not a doctor. There's nothing else I can do. Like, I would love to somehow be more involved in that recovery, but obviously that is something that will take time. Next Gen Hef. Hey guys. I didn't really have anything or a story to share for the showcase. Then Crusader Kings III came out on Tuesday. Man, what is all these crazy PC games? They're killing it. This is Microsoft Flight Simulator's a game I didn't think I was going to be as focused on. And then IGN gave it a 10. Other people are freaking out about this. Good to hear. Not a franchise I'm familiar with at all.
Got really high scores too.
Yes. I'm not big into PC games, but I got a new gaming laptop in July to play the few games that I have picked up. After watching some videos, I was really interested in trying Crusader Kings III. With my laptop purchase, I got a free month of Game Pass PC and redeemed it to play the game for free. When I went to install it, I got this message. Crusader Kings III is rated above the restrictions set on this account. To install, please ask for an adult to sign in and download, or you can continue to browse hundreds of games in the store.
Oh, no.
I love this. Now, for context, my Microsoft account was created 6 years ago after I turned 18. My birthday information is correct, and I can edit my payment information and buy stuff. I guess in their eyes, I was old enough to edit payment info, but not old enough to play an M-rated game. Through research, I found out that apparently an adult in my family group can unrestrict my account and let me install and play the game. Thing is, I was not in a family group. My account was only linked to another account, my mother's, by the fact that we share a family Office 365 plan. I shared this on a Discord, took some advice, logged into my mother's account, found out she does have a family group, but then again, I was not a part of it or ever a part of it. Finally, after around 15 minutes going back and forth between our accounts, I was able to edit my age restriction settings, which by default are set to unrestricted. After closing and reopening the Xbox app, I was able to start downloading the game, still have no clue why I had account restrictions. So, after all this complicated stuff, I was able to play a complicated game. It took a few hours of playing the game and watching videos for some of it to click. I can now expand through military conquest quite well. I became the King of Ireland and united the entire Isle. This is where stuff started to go wrong. I accidentally kicked my heir out of the country. Thankfully, he came back after he turned 18. My only wife and soulmate was murdered. Never figured out who did it. And by reading one book converted to Judaism, not my realm or children, just me, this opened me up to being invaded through holy wars. I came super close to losing everything. Right before a siege against my capital was almost complete, I died. My Christian heir took over, the wars were negated, and the Kingdom of Ireland lives on to this day. Not well, but lives on. This game is definitely great if you try it if you have Game Pass and are old enough to play Next Gen F. That's why I love the thing I shared with Bloodworth, that it's going to haunt me until the day that I die. My Xbox account's still tied to my old, completely defunct GameTrailers.com account. And even when I log in with my current email and then hit it, they're like, "What's up, Brandon, GameTrailers.com? Thanks for being a Microsoft member." Like, it's not fine. Like, if I'm online, on Xbox, on PC, doesn't matter. Wherever I am, they're like, "Oh, you crazy GameTrailers.com guy."
Yeah, there's probably some way to remove it, but Microsoft account settings are, yeah.
I mean, I removed it 4 years ago when we started Easy Allies.
Like, yeah, well, that's what I mean, though. It's
like
there's multi-layered, and different weird little things.
Changed it in the app,
or things hide.
Changed it online. Talk to people on the phone. They changed it for me.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah. They were like, oh, common mistake. Cleared up for you. Oh, thanks.
Yeah, because what I've seen
it doesn't stop me from getting anything. It's just
when I change the emails coming to Easy Allies, on the group accounts and stuff, it's like you change it and then like it's almost like it's cached and it'll keep referencing the old thing and then eventually it just sort of like flips a switch. It sounds like you're just never flipping the switch.
I really like the in-game storytelling here. It makes me hunger for like a showcase post that is entirely in the world. We kind of got this with Asbos Zapruder for the last couple months through Animal Crossing, but it'd be great if Next Gen Hef just talked about it. It's like, okay, so I own Ireland now. And we're like, oh, okay, owns Ireland? Oh, Crusader Kings III. That's what he's playing. That would be fun. Robert Seven Lee talking about many, many games. Good Mr. Jones and Mr. Bloodworth. Good Mr. Bloodworth.
Good Mr.
With the release of Wasteland 3, I'd like to give my own personal take on 4 turn-based tactical shooters I've played, a genre you guys won't shut up about. Is that a dig? I can't tell. Because we don't talk about.
I think that's
turn-based tactical shooters.
A dig? I don't know.
I think it's a dig.
Okay.
All of these are my own personal experience playing on PC with a controller. Yes, I have sinned, but have no regrets. Let me do the fist bump. It's on your left hand. Do the fist bump, the controller fist bump. Invert it. Boom. There we go. XCOM 2. Pros. Has controller support. Graphically pleasing. Has mod support. It gets you straight into the action without much exposition or lengthy cutscenes. Minimal cutscenes during combat. Sweet combat music. Destructible environments. XCOM 2 was the first game I ever streamed on the internet by myself, I think. I think it was before Toy Box Tuesday. That was like right when we moved over to the Defy building, and I was like, how do I stream? And they were like, you can just stream on your PC. You don't need any other equipment. I was like, oh, what's a good PC game? Oh, I guess I'll play XCOM. Believe it was XCOM 2. Might have been the first one. Cons. Performance issues in late game. No controller haptic feedback. One mission has endless respawning enemies. Can get stale towards the end. I think the biggest hook for me is the urgency in the early part of the game when you're constantly on the back foot and just trying to survive. I was led to believe that was the entire game. Performance of my PC starts well, but starts to degrade the further I got into the game. Mods still keep this game alive. Phoenix Point. Not a name I recognize. Blood recognizes it. Yeah. Pros, controller support, ability to target body parts in first person, huge array of weapons and armor options, vehicles can get used in combat. Cons, buggy, no controller haptics, the visuals hurt my eyes, the goggles do nothing. The goggles? What?
Not sure I know the goggles, but...
Lack of polish, performance drops, awful audio music during combat. It's like XCOM has procedurally generated maps and is very challenging. Call me superficial, but I can't get over how bad this game looks. The game has a lot going for it, but boy, does it look rough, and the frame rate drops make it worse. Updates might have fixed some of the issues now, but I am not going back.
Yeah, Phoenix Point has been actually getting updates, because I still get emails about it. But yeah, I'm pretty sure some of the original old school XCOM guys are behind Phoenix Point, rather than the 2K team.
Gears Tactics. Pros, sweet presentation, great performance, controller support with haptic feedback, exclamation point. Sounds awesome. Combat feels fluid, great level of unit and weapon customization. Cons, limited mission types, not much to do outside of combat, not fully destructible environments. Gears Tactics is by far the most polished out of these games, but it seems bare bones compared to Phoenix Point and XCOM. There's no doomsday clock to push you around, no base building, no resources to spend on upgrades or recruits, and there's little mission variety. Still looks and plays great, and had a good time with this one. Gears Tactics presentation with Phoenix Point gameplay would almost be perfect. And finally, Wasteland 3. I understand it's not exactly the same type of game as the others. Pros, controller support with haptic feedback. Combat feels tense and rewarding. Variety and character customization. Each skill point feels crucial. Definitely heard that from Ben. Cons, takes time to get going. Early game bugs, loading times, navigating the menu with a controller feels awkward, camera issues in combat. After the initial combat tutorial, it gets dialogue heavy. My initial urge was to skip conversations, but I've stuck with it so far. My main issue at the moment is loading times when traveling to different areas, and for some reason, I'm not getting on with the inventory screen. Maybe it's a controller issue. Despite these issues, I'm enjoying the combat, and it's keeping me going. That's all I have. Love and respect, Robert Lee.
Nice. Another one that I wanted to check out and then just never got around to is Mutant Year Zero, Road to Eden.
Oh, and Into the Breach, which is, I know it's different. It's kind of more Advance Warsy than this stuff.
Yeah.
But is tactical. You know, is now free on Epic Games, and I think I've purchased all of the free games that have been available from Epic Games ever since they began that service. Have never downloaded any of them. I mean, I purchased them as in like get $0. I just love hitting a $0 screen. It's just so satisfying. And I've never downloaded anything on that, and I was close. I
love how
I just want a little 10-minute taste of Into the Breach because I do not know specifically how it plays.
I love how Epic and PlayStation send you receipts for those too.
Yeah.
When you get an email over, see them like, okay, guys, sure.
Like, I bought 3 things today. Oh, bought. See, Jason Sackle coming up here. And just to give you a taste of what Sackle is like, maybe compared to other community members. There's a great example coming up here.
Jones is already digging.
Jason Sackle. I remember at the beginning when I was going to aim to be positive, the 2020 rule. Then 2020 evolved, and I strayed from that goal. Yeah, Sackle, you don't owe 2020 a damn thing. Or it could just be that because I played Death Stranding and suffered through that dialogue. Anywho, new consoles are around the corner as much as it may seem like they're not. Next gen may not have a price tag yet or a release date, but they are coming this year. It's a bit of a lull for me as all the games I was invested in for this year have come out, at least the ones with release dates. I played a bunch of Fall Guys in August. See, just Fall Guys. That's what I'm talking about. No Ultimate Knockout. Just
you appreciated it the first time.
Yeah. I'm just saying, we all have a little bit to learn. That game is a hoot. Easy thing to play a round or two after then. Blood can sympathize with that. You've been playing much more Fall Guys than I have. A round or two after work and then go about my day. The new stuff looks great too. Aside from that, I didn't really play with many games in August. I decided to take a look at the Avengers beta. College friends were playing, so I figured I'd hop in. Hopped in and yeah, that all seems horrible. Again, I know nothing about the comics. Movies are my base for knowledge. I just couldn't get into it all. Wasn't liking how it played or anything. I was also... I was more into it than the other 3 guys when we did the preview, than Ben and Brad and Huber, but like every criticism they were bringing up, I was like, you're right. I can't, I'm still enjoying it. But like now that I'm actually like, done with the campaign, playing a lot of multiplayer, it's like, okay, these are how the characters are different. Got it. Like Thor is super fun. I don't know why Thor and Cap weren't in the beta. It was so weird. Oh, I wasn't liking how it played or anything. At first, I thought maybe superhero games just don't do anything for me, but I really did enjoy the Spider-Man PS4 game. Yes, I got many bugs and made jabs at it. Doesn't mean I didn't have a good time. Looking forward to that Miles Morales game whenever it comes out. I feel like it will be more of the same since we've barely seen anything from it. I did, however... Yeah, I wonder if that's another like kind of Last of Us super spoiler situation where they're like really scared to show...
We saw plenty of Last of Us gameplay,
what
though.
Goes. Yeah, I just wonder. I don't know. Maybe the costumes. I don't know. Who knows? We have seen nothing of that game outside of like a 10-second montage. I did, however, just play a few hours of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2. Even though I'm on the East Coast, that game still decided to unlock at 9 p.m. for me, and I wasn't going to complain. That game is super fun. I don't know if it is nostalgia or what, but time sure flew by in a snap. In fashion, I did glitch through a level where I did reset the skater, and the message, "You broke the game," in exclamation point. You broke the game displayed, so that didn't take long.
I like that.
Interesting to note, when I clipped
let the game identify that the game is broken.
It's fantastic.
And just tell you.
Interesting to note, when I clipped it to post to Twitter, it stripped the music out. I do want to get excited for that Star Wars Squadron game. I love the Rogue Squadron games for 64, GameCube, or whatever system that was on. Something just seems missing to hook me. I think just want to see flying on planets through canyons. Maybe that just isn't the game, though. If they've shown something like that, well, I said it before, not the biggest Star Wars fan, so it's entirely possible I missed it. Do really like Mandalorian, though. Saw that season 2 begins in October. That cast. Hope they don't mess it up and fill it with a bunch of nonsense from the cartoons I never watched. Oh, I'm sorry, Jason Sacco. Is the lore really big in Star Wars? Hope they don't. Hoping they continue to let it be its own thing. That's all. I don't know if you've heard about the casting, but you got some cartoons to watch, bro. There's gonna be a lot of people popping up in that world. I think what would really save Squadrons for me when I'm nervous is forced myself to play X-Wing and TIE Fighter when we did the Star Wars Retro. And the best missions in that game were kind of like the Bush stuff that you're doing in Microsoft Flight Simulator, where you would just kind of go out and be like, okay, I got to go rescue this guy and then take him back to base. And then you go and like his ship gets blown up and oh no, now there's these other guys. Okay, hide from them. Okay, now kill them. Okay, now get back to base. And by the end of it, you're like, that was like a Simpsons episode. I didn't know where that was going to go next. And it's like a lot of the stuff they're selling Squadrons on is like, see that guy, kill that guy. See that, blow that up. Star Wars. And it's like, I just hope there's a little bit more surprises and, having like a big, Star Destroyer just coming out of nowhere and all these TIE fighters come flying at you. Like, I hope there's moments like that because those are really fun. Very Star Wars. John Koenig. Hi, Brandon and Blood. August was a slow month for my Game Boy game project. Still plugging away at it when I'm in the mood, and I've made a few breakthroughs recently, so I like to keep that up. So I need to keep that up. As always, you can follow that at John, that is Jon, -is-k.itch.io/phenomenology, PHENOMENOLOGY. Love the plug, though, because it's a big post. Got to move on. Now to ramble. Started some lengthy games, so I haven't finished much, but I have made some progress for some impressions. First up, Dragon Quest XI. I actually didn't start DQ11, but picked it up back after some time away. While this game is incredibly charming, with fun, goofy, yet endearing characters, enemies, and locations, I do have some issues. Minor mid-game spoilers ahead. Whoa. Halfway through, you hit a big story moment and your party splits up for a while. While split up, I went through a series of vignettes about my party members and what they were doing. Eventually, I started meeting back up with my party, but then the game presented finding the party members as some big surprise. Now, I suppose for the player character himself, it would be surprising, but for me, it was like the game telling me to be shocked by something it had already shown me. Secondly, why does this game only have 5 music tracks? For the first 20-30 hours, they were fun, adventurous songs, but now they're just a little grating. Also, since there's only 5 tracks, the track that gets played for whatever story beat is going on tends to be wildly inappropriate, which does at least add some unintentional humor. Next, yeah, everyone jumped on me too for the music in Final Fantasy VII Remake, which is fantastic, but it's like, I gotta be going on hour 90 of hearing this theme looped.
Yeah,
because I'm doing all the crazy side quests.
I think that's an issue with. Yeah, but well, 7's a unique thing, but yeah, with Dragon Quest, them trying to keep that tone and that nostalgia, and like a big part of that is just using those key tracks so much, and so it's kind of funny that they haven't really written more music for those games, because it's not only that you are familiar with that track from this game, but you're familiar with that track from 8 and from 4, and from the first game. The
thing that's so funny about that theme is once they recorded that with an orchestra, they're done. It's like every new Final Fantasy game comes out and you're like, oh, look at they did a little thing with the theme, that's fun, they updated it for the world. And Dragon Quest XI's like, no, this is the theme. Doesn't matter if it's builders, doesn't matter if it's a mobile game, doesn't matter if it's 11 or 10. Dun, 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 dun. It's a good theme though. I mean, it's such a good theme. It makes me sad that we never did a Dragon Quest retro, because how fun would that be to just save it, for like the last episode, and then like, all right, here we go, one last time.
Apparently, we would have had to put picture in picture from whatever.
Oh man, yeah, another good
Hopefully
reason
that doesn't happen again. Good
not
grief.
to produce those anymore. Next, Star Wars: The Old Republic curveball. Normally, I'm not much of an MMO person, but I decided to check it because I had enjoyed Knights of the Old Republic games so much and wanted to see if it was anything like those. Most MMOs are, yeah. And I must say, it has exceeded my expectations and is feeling like a genuine sequel. The gameplay is nothing great, standard MMO cooldown-based stuff. What impressed me was the storyline, particularly that my decisions felt like they mattered, and I wasn't being railroaded down a specific path to move the plot forward. More minor spoilers ahead. I was given a mission to take out a rival Sith Lord, and during my hunt for him, I ran into some Republic soldiers. Now, I could have chopped them down with ease, but I decided they weren't bothering me, so I let them live. This meant that the commander of those soldiers now owed me a favor. A little bit later, I'm ready to confront the rogue Sith who's leading me into an ambush, so what do? I call in that favor and have the Republic soldiers stage an ambush of their own. In reality, it was a small moment, but I loved that the game gave me those options and let me follow through on them. I didn't cover the other game I started, Yakuza 0. That one will be for next time.
Nice. I started that too this month and played a little bit more of it last weekend, but I've got
Old Republic?
No, Yakuza 0.
Oh, Yakuza 0, okay.
Yeah. So got to get back to that, but I'm also trying to cram through a review this weekend, so we'll see.
Yes, me too. Always got a review in our back pocket. Yeah, the thing that was funny about Old Republic for me was I played it with all my Warcraft buddies, and we were Alliance, and like a lot of people in our guild were like, why aren't we Horde? Why aren't we Horde? And I'm like, well, because me and my buddy started it, and I wanted to be Alliance. I'm sorry, like I'm always a good guy. So like they were always harping on me, and then we felt like Old Republic comes out, and they're like, we are sithing this game so hard, and I'm like, okay, like I think I'm actually gonna be like a what is it? Not chaotic neutral, but like full neutral, good neutral, or whatever. Like right in the middle of the board. True neutral. And so I went smuggler. And so like every time we had to make a bad decision or something, I was like, well, let's think about. And all the guys immediately were like, bad. Like even when we didn't even need to do anything bad to this person, it was just like every opportunity. You could see the votes in real time, and like they all hit that button so fast, every single time. Yeah, we will see. But that was fun. Good game. Yeah, great story. And that is it for comments. Time to get into some of the big medias that we got here. Hold on a second. Let me do this thing. Big medias. Let me say, share computer sound and share that screen. Yeah. You got that screen there, Blood?
Yeah.
Get out of here, Zoom EXE.
It's weird because it just feels like I'm looking at XSplit all of a sudden.
Yep. Everyone, hold on. You're looking at a blank screen. We're coming back.
And also it like full screens itself, so I just lost chat. I don't know if it'll give it back to me if I.
There we go.
If I can minimize this. No, it's just taking over. Okay.
Here we are. And yeah, we look a little grody. Sorry.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Now I can see your screen and chat.
Nice. Okay, and let me just add this. Now, well, we're just going through this 7th inning stretch phase. Just add you to all of these pages as well. I added you to the photographs page, even though we don't have any photographs. But we do got some drawings. Kicking it off. Oh, I got to do this thing in real time as well. From our first post, which is a website. You hear that? Website.
I heard that.
Where's that page? Weird. I have to pull this away from the rest of this.
Terrifying. It's terrifying, James.
I know. Hold. There we go. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice.
Good afternoon, Blood and Jones. My first appearance and submission for the community showcase is here over the past month and a half, let's say. I've been creating a website for Hall of Greats, overall just for practice so I don't get rusty during COVID and learn some new stuff possibly, especially practice. When I learned the wiki does exactly what I wanted to do. The website is table heavy, so I hope you like tables. You like tables, don't you, Blood? Each page has a sortable table that shows games for each category on that specific page. Inducted, nominees, ceremonies, and allies. There we go. Inductees.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, the nominees here. Where are these loading up?
Maybe XSplit doesn't like tables.
Well, it's not loading up in the...
Wow.
Yeah. Not loading up for some reason. Come on now. Maybe I need to stretch it out more? Come on now. It was working earlier.
It was working in XSplit earlier?
That seems so odd that that XSplit would be the issue. That XSplit would make Chrome do something.
Refresh, yes.
There we go.
There we go.
Boom. There we go. So yeah, look, you can see.
Nice. Oh my goodness.
Who pitched what?
This is bringing back memories.
When you click a game in each of these tables, you are brought to the game's page where there is some info on that game, some related to Hall of Greats. If a game has already been inducted, it will be shown as a winner with 3 stars above the name. When you click on an ally or Hall of Great text on that page, you are brought to that given ally's or Hall of Greats page. The footer has links for the Hall of Great forum, the Easy Allies website in general, and my personal gift hub, which you don't have to show. The things I want to work on later are working on games that were brought more than once, especially the ones that won eventually, like The Last of Us, an issue with Super Mario 64, where it won't render in Brad's or Damiani's ally table because they both brought it, and having that filter with all the other games was a difficult thing for me to get my head around in time for the showcase. Darn you, unknown man who was talking about Gamescom last week. And finally, making the website mobile friendly. With all that said, here's the link. So that for those of you listening or watching this after the fact, that is hall-of-greats.hero Cop. So that's hero, regular spelling, HeroKuapp. Hero Kuapp. KUAPP.com. I will drop that in chat right there if you guys want to check it out. And obviously we can spend
Hero Kuapp.
Hero Kuapp. HeroKuapp.com. Hall-of-greats. Heroku app. Sure. Boom. Thank you, Joey. Yeah, now, bam, close that. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
No, that reminded me of my old
that was the first
spreadsheets from high school.
I saw on saw something that made me think of you, Blood. Somebody on Twitter was like, "Hey, young artists, don't throw your stuff away. I know it doesn't mean anything to you now, but it will mean a lot to you later." And I just thought about you with all your Mega Man drawings and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Fun to have it around. From Chumnuan, hello, Bloodworth and Jones. After 10 years, I'm looking for a new apartment, and it's been stressful. Haven't found one yet, and all the things. I'm probably looking for an apartment because we're probably gonna have to rent because we just put an offer on a house earlier this week that we wanted so bad, didn't get it. So
no.
running out of time. You know, it's like you don't want to. We don't want to be like, well, we're rushed to get out of our house, so we should pick a house that we don't want. It's like, no, got to take time. But yeah, moving sucks. Haven't found one yet, and all the things you need to do when it happens just makes it a hassle. It's going to be worth it, though, since my current one is so small. I like Christopher Nolan's Inception, which is why I was excited to watch Tenet on IMAX to boot. These types are also interesting to rewatch, which I eventually will do. Let's go to drawings. No review on Tenet from Juno, and I hope that was good. Hearing all sorts of crazy stuff. Number 1. Street Fighter V finally getting a rival schools representative and a legendary comic relief. Akira Kazama and Dan Hibiki. Nice.
Very cool.
Very cool. Yoink.
Whoa.
Yeah, number 2, a delinquent girl, Yankee, who it's on a super windy day. What is she going Super Saiyan? What's happening there? She's got her...
Yankee or Yankee?
Yankee, I guess? I don't know. Spelled Yankee.
Oh, with 2 E's?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Don't know.
Don't know either. Number 3. Characters, love this. Characters from a classic Rumiko Takahashi graphic novel series. Reminds me of What About Bob a little bit. But it's like, what do we got here? Puppets? Sold.
What's funny is it's a ponytail, but for a second I thought she had like a little animal on her shoulder.
Right.
But yeah, this is cool.
Number 4, Chun-Li. Change your hairstyle.
Yeah.
And this is a very, very good one. Number 5, and to end it off with, speaking of X-Men drawings, X and Zero. That's all for this month. Terju Engi.
Mega Man X, not X-Men.
Oh, sorry. X and Zero, sorry.
Man X.
Man X, yeah. I see X, and I'm talking to Bloodworth, and it just takes me back. to talking about X-Men with Dana Bloodworth. Cool. Boo! Look at this beauty.
Oh.
Scotty Ford, hi Brandon and Blood. Last month I submitted a trailer for my Dreams game, which was something very new to me. This month I'm sharing some work that's more in my regular wheelhouse, illustration. I've been working on this illustration inspired by Breath of the Wild all month, and I finished it just in time. The rest of the images are previous art I've made inspired by other games. I'm sure you'll be able to guess number 4, and the last 3 images are original concepts, although certainly inspired in part by some games. Thank you to this wonderful community, and for giving me this opportunity to share my work. Love and respect, Scott. Yeah, I want that game. I want to play that.
It's very cool.
Yes.
That's such a great poster.
That is a game Blood's familiar with. That is a game Damiani is very familiar with.
I feel like I should recognize this. What is this?
I want to say Inside.
Oh, sure.
Is that Inside? Oh,
sure,
yeah,
sure,
the
sure,
little search bot dude at the bottom ground. Yeah. On the bottom there. That's Inside. And the dogs. Oh, the dogs. I love it. I love how savage Inside is, man. I love some games where like you can't mess with kids. That's like the one rule. You can't do some Insides like watch us. Just watch us. Yeah, I don't know what game this is. Could be anything, really.
I don't know that this is a game, but maybe.
Not sure what they're referencing. I don't know. There's 4 of them, and they're.
I mean, that looks like probably Japan out the window.
Right.
Yeah. So okay. So on the left, the orange is a salamander's got the fire kanji.
Oh, okay. So some
and
kind
then
of elemental
we got
thing going on.
a turtle. We got a frog with a leaf.
Okay.
And then this is like a little mouse with. Oh, so yeah, this is Pokemon. These are Pokemon.
It's a stretch, Blood. It's a stretch.
It's because look,
so
Pikachu has the lightning symbol. Jones has lost it.
It's very much Pokemon, of course. It's a Pokemon symbol right there in the lower left. It's Pokemon, of course. Oh, these are original concepts. He said the last 3. I was gonna say I don't know what game this is because it's OG, folks. And I love this. I love just somebody's room.
Yeah,
it's just the best.
That's really cool.
I love
that's so much
detail.
The little
swordsman. Yeah,
that was one of the things that was really blew me away with the Super Nintendo RPGs like Final Fantasy VI and Chrono Trigger. Just how much detail was in those rooms. You walk into a kitchen, it's just like little things everywhere.
Yeah. And finally, yeah.
Oh, this is cool.
Yeah.
This big, look at this toad.
I know, just sitting at the top. It's the Sleepy Toad, Noodle House in the Hotel. You gotta get, if that toad passes on, I wonder how long giant toads live for. Gotta change the name of the hotel. Teach, hello, Brandon and Blood. I am back again with a few illustrations that I hope will actually make their way out of the Google Drive clutches this time. They did. Somebody had a video for me that I was not able to get, but they did submit an image that I was able to grab. First off is my character Nightlight having an encounter with a creature. Love that.
Oh, wow.
Kind of Ori vibes. Second is an enemy from the story, sort of my own take on a Dark Link style antagonist. Yeah.
Oh, wow, yeah. It's like a scythe.
And the last is just a couple of jolly little autumns, O-T-O-M-S, autumns, walking along. As always, thank you for your hard work and your other allies. And this is...
Oh, neat. Yeah, these guys are cool.
Yeah, very, very hard not to just instantly love those guys. See you next month, Teach. Thank you, Teach. Just want to look at that a little bit more. There we go. And finally from Ian Alexander. I love it. I love like how epic going on an adventure in Dungeons and Dragons and going into a fantasy world, teaming up with these people, going on an adventure, using your powers, saving, mankind, elf kind, dwarf kind, and then yet this is all really D&D boils down to. It's just like, walking down some thin trail and just like, that's not what I said. We were talking earlier and I said, you check the map and we were going over here.
The little the little things on his mustache are funny. On the dwarf.
Oh yeah, it's little rings. Yeah. I just love the attitude in this. Yo, dudes, Ian Alexander. I've been spending all my creative energy on D&D recently. We just finished The Lost Mind of Phandelver adventure book. If anyone wants to watch, there are now 26 episodes of it on my YouTube channel, Alexander Arts. One word, regular spelling, Alexander Arts. Now, we are beginning my own adventure, starting off at the gates of Neverwinter. Here's my drawing of my players walking down the road, arguing, as they often do. Love and respect, Ian, at Alexander_Arts. Very, very fun. Moving on to screenshots. Filling our... I'm not doing it anymore. I've finished my Animal Crossing streams, but Asbo's still going strong.
Oh, cool.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. Things have been happening on the island of Poppleton. Let's dive right in. It all began when Diana stepped in my office. She was planning to marry Morton, the curator of the art wing at Blather's Museum, but he hadn't been seen in 3 days. My first stop was to Morton's house, where I found 2 items of note. The first was his latest museum acquisition, the Royal Crown, and the second was a hastily torn piece of paper with the numbers 85 to 83 written on it. I visited Morton's father, Shep, who told me that the last time he saw Morton was 5 days ago, eating lunch with a shady-looking fox in a blue apron. On my way home, I stopped at the museum to drop off the Royal Crown, but I was in for a shock. I looked at the art Morton had already hung and wondered how many of them were fakes as well. I started with Seurat's masterpiece, painted in 1885 according to the plaque. Wait! 85? And the next one to it was the one next to it was painted in 83, which meant that 82, the date of the third painting, was the missing part of the paper. Dun, dun, dun. I met Diana in Morton's backyard and asked her about the forgeries and the numbers. The numbers meant nothing to her, and finding out about the forgeries just upset her. I returned to Shep's to update him and ask him to apologize to Diana for me. To my surprise, he said that he didn't know anyone named Diana and that Morton had no plans to get married. Dun, dun, dun. I raced to Morton's house to find his bookcase had moved, revealing a hidden room. Dun, dun,
Love
dun.
those hidden rooms.
It was so great, yeah. I was surprised. Yeah, they're hidden, but of course it's always the first place I look. Number 9, finally, I was surprised to find that the numbers 85, 83, 82 opened the safe, and even less surprised to find that there was nothing inside it. Diana had run off with the real Royal Crown, leaving me with a room full of fake paintings, an empty safe, and the overwhelming feeling that I was a chump. Anyway, that was August. I'm sure September will be much calmer. Until then, Asbo Sapruder, a.k.a. Screaming_Argonaut in chat. Yuck, 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 yuck.
Yeah, it's funny. I think Red's in our town today, so I've got to check in.
Oh.
We got to check in on the art, but I swear every time that my wife is like, hey, he's in town today, we got to pull up the list and look through everything, and like, fake, 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 fake. All right, I guess next time.
From Mo Grant. Hey, Jones and Bloodworth, attempting to make my first showcase post. I hope I'm not too late. If I'm not, then for my first showcase post, I figured this would be a good place to drop off my favorite Ghost of Tsushima screenshots, since they're currently sitting on my PS4 and I haven't posted them anywhere else yet.
Cool.
Number 1, for you see, there are many lessons one must keep in mind when becoming the Ghost. First, excuse me, that's not a lesson. A good lesson, though, 9 images for every showcase, not 10. I took out your 10th. Sorry, Mo.
Oh.
First, one must be calm in the face of overwhelming odds. And always be ready to strike first. I love how gory these are. You must be able to strike silently and effectively. And be willing to show your enemies no mercy. But with all this killing, it's also important for a warrior to calm their thoughts. Relax with some music. My favorite. Look at that screenshot.
Yeah.
Out of all of these, my absolute favorite, without a doubt. Admire the beauty of nature when honoring shrines. And, always a good place to end, petting foxes. Thank you, Mo Grant. There was one more. Again, if you want to check out any of this stuff, patreon.com/easyallies, click on Community Showcase, and then find the last one. Or you can find all of the other posts that we've done previously, but specifically September 2020 is what you want to find. If you want to check out that secretive, elusive 10th screenshot from Mo Grant. But thank you for... I got to finish Avengers this weekend, but man, this game is calling. I could just hear... I hear that instrument. Like just in my dreams. I cannot wait.
But no, I love the... turning screenshots into like a storybook. It's pretty cool. Yeah, for both of these.
Some good screenshot potential in Avengers. Just no time to stop and smell the roses, man. Gotta keep rushing through. Barely got time to do side quests in that game. Gotta get that review done. Ulf himself. Hello, Jones and Blood. Like many others, I've spent some time in Microsoft Flight Simulator this past month, so I thought I'd share a few screenshots. Yeah, where are we? Where are we, Blood? Can you tell?
Someplace it's windy.
This is a wind farm of southern Gotland. That's where that is. This is...
This is a cool plane, too.
Reykjavik? Reykjavik.
Reykjavik? I think is as close as I could get.
Reykjavik in Iceland. Yay. That's where that is. And if you look out the right side of the plane, you will see... the northern tip of the island of Åland. It's funny. It doesn't look like an island. Some of these things like, oh, it's just an island. It's like some islands on planet Earth are very, very, very big.
Oh, yeah.
I really want to fly around Hawaii. That's probably one of my most burning spots that I have not checked out yet. It'd be fun to fly from one island to another. This is Innsbruck, Austria. I might have driven through this part because we have... Okay. Yeah, I think I have been snuck through. It's when you get Switzerland and Austria. You can I'm in Austria for 5 minutes, and then you're back in Switzerland. And finally, place I have definitely been, Paris, France, which you can possibly tell. Look at it, there it is, right by just to the left of the plane. That beautiful, beautiful tower. And it's another thing too, where it's another thing about Google Maps and Flight Simulator. You're just like, oh, I'm just going to take off from the Paris airport, and then I'll see the Eiffel Tower. It'll be right there. It'll be obvious. Just this giant tower. And it's like, Paris is a really big city. So even in just this image, you have to, oh, there it is. What's that big grass patch? Oh, right. That extremely iconic place that you would think you'd be able to spot right away. I remember as a kid being like, man, when we get close to Disneyland, I'll see the Matterhorn, from the freeway. It's not... There are trees outside of Disneyland that are as tall as the Matterhorn.
I think that's one of the things that elevation kind of messes with you too. Like this will be easier to see if you were moving, but because it's not up against the skyline, it's harder to spot.
Two things instantly happen when I look at all these screenshots, Blood. One, I am instantly filled with calm because Microsoft Flight Simulator is a very calming game if you don't stress yourself out too much. And two, I just hear that low rumble. Like when I look at all of these screenshots. Skipping right over photos and going straight into... Oh, actually, really quickly, going straight to... Back to us, actually. Let's make ourselves really big. There we are, because... we are going to listen to, drum roll please, RF Switch. Greetings, Jones, Blood, and chat. I couldn't get any art done. Life and fate kept getting in the way, as per usual, but that doesn't mean I wasn't busy. Now, I'm aware that this has some mild spoilers for the first story arc. Also, I'm not even remotely in the same league as Jesse Blue, nor is audio editing my thing. This was a quiet clip. I did ramp this up, so you will hear... I definitely boosted it, so you will hear a little hiss in the background, but wanted to hear that Switch. However, I feel that you all deserve a treat, so I hope you will all love what I'm about to show you. There's no showing going on. Everybody needs to listen. Turn up your speakers. Themis, the Catgirl short story. Love and respect, RF Switch. And now, a world premiere excerpt from The Date, written and performed by RF Switch. For the full story, both written and eventually audiobook format, and to support my work, go to ko-fi.com/RF Switch Art. All one word. No dots, no dashes, no nothing. ko-fi.com/RF Switch Art. Take it away. And this is a story, and it jumps right into it, folks, so pay attention.
Wait, Eris interrupts. What about computers? I heard they were alright. It is at that moment when the entire room stares at her, and she raises her eyebrow when she sees that the looks on their faces are what she could only describe as a mixture of disappointment and dismay. It's because Trevor and I helped level their floating restaurant, Themis says with a melancholy tone. And, Zeke adds, when they got their new land-based location, we were all totally banned as a result. Trevor scoffs. It's not our fault those 3 elemental idiots decided to attack that specific area of Harborview. Eris looks at all 3 of them, dumbfounded. She remembered there was a large ship in the Harborview district that was half sticking out in the water when she first arrived in Port City. But she didn't completely expect her friends were to blame for its destruction. While she processes just how her friends could level a ship, Derek walks behind her and places his hands on her shoulders, rubbing them gently. To be fair, Eris, the bearded human whispered in her ear, you wanted to go out with Themis. This is just one of the many consequences you have to deal with. Yeah, she sighs. I forget that my girlfriend is chaos personified, that she could get banned from the buffet for eating too much. Now you're getting it, he responds, taking one of his hands and tussling her hair. The feline just rolls her eyes, grabbing her jacket, as well as Themis' jacket and bag, and handing the latter to her significant other. Themis takes both, putting them on, then pulling out her newly acquired cell phone to get a ride from Move, a ride-hailing service. As she does that, Zeke steps next to them, looking them over with a discerning eye. Also, one more thing, he says, matter-of-factly. The feline's turn to meet his gaze as he continues. If both of you run into the usual kind of trouble, like if some fire wielder comes and tries to burn the building down, or someone like Hugo or Draco shows up and attacks you or the general populace, please call. Like, even if it's a quick telepathic message to Nat, please let us know so we can deal with it for you. Themis groans and rolls her eyes. Nothing's gonna happen. We'll be fine. Yep, just like you were fine against Jack and Ashley when you were
something's gonna
possessed,
happen.
or fine before we went against Hugo, replied Zeke, a smug smile plastered on his face. Whatever, Dad, Themis scoffs, blushing profusely, taking Eris by the hand and walking towards the door. We'll be fine.
I want to see the floating restaurant. That was my main takeaway. And also, there's a ride service called Move. Was that the?
Yeah, I mean, that was
like
the
Uber,
thing
the
that stuck out to me.
Uber?
It's like, oh crap! If you're writing now a story, you have to come up with all these fake apps.
I love that. They have some GTA world building.
And the problem is with fake apps is there's so many apps. How do you know that you picked a name that's not real?
Oh, totally. You're just trying to make fun of it. You're like, oh, I'll pick a really dumb title, and it's like, actually, that's a thing. All right, time for music. Thank you, RF Switch. That was wonderful. Adam Henschel kicking it off. Hey, Blood and Brandon, in light of the recent 3D Mario collection, I also do a little bit of audio management. Adam Henschel is not saying this is me, which I did not do. I just grabbed these, so there might be, some stuff might be a little bit louder. Kieran Little's coming up after this, and I expect him to absolutely shred, so that might be a little louder than Adam. So I'll be doing some potentially light audio mixing on the fly. In light of recent 3D Mario collection, I reharmonized the Hub World theme from Super Mario Galaxy and recorded it in a jazz quartet setting. As always, thanks for listening. Adam, take it away. Great editing, Adam. I love the focus on all the instruments. One of these days, I gotta play Galaxy.
Well,
Gotta have an opinion about it, one way or the other.
I can't believe I haven't played Galaxy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, chat brought this up a little bit, but it's like it really makes me feel like, man, the next time we do a meetup, a real meetup,
I thought, yeah, it was
Why
what
are
you were
we-
laughing at. Yeah.
why are we trying to like come up with crazy ideas? Just like get
Right.
as many of these guys
Yeah.
on a stage, and then put you and Ian in between them, and we're good, man.
You
It's
said it.
amazing.
You said it. Yeah, we were lamenting Twitch Sings just is shutting down, and Ian were like, "Whoops!" Apparently, had a very short window to get in there and make that happen. Kieran Little with the shredding we so desperately need and deserve. Hi, Brandon and Blood. As a lifelong Suikoden fan, you can only imagine my elation when spiritual successor Eiyuden Chronicle was finally revealed. I immediately backed the Kickstarter and dug into the Suikoden 1 and 2 soundtracks for a cover to do what little I could to raise awareness for the Kickstarter, not realizing that it would be finished by the time the showcase rolled around, but oh well. I decided to have a bite at the Vampire Necklord themes, Gothic Necklord, high fantasy JRPGs and vampires. Is there anything cooler? You got me. You got me, Karen. Anyone who finds themselves with the opportunity to play these classics should absolutely give them a fair shake. And please, everyone, keep your eyes open for Eiyuden Chronicle when it releases. Hope this is a blood-worthy submission. Enjoy and stay safe. Oof. Castlevania vibes. Yeah. Oof, really, really good. So you can't not move to that.
I have no familiarity with that soundtrack, but that's amazing.
And I gotta love him going through the Suikoden and being like, metal worthy? No. Next track? Metal? No. Next track? Saying those waveforms. You get those big, thick waveforms. That's the track. He's going up and it's just a staircase that keeps going up and down. That's as metal as it should be. Yeah, we should definitely pass that one on to Ben. Speaking of Ben's, Ben Fitter is back. Hey, Jones and Blood, back again after a few months with another piano cover. I was all ready to give FF7 Remake the Best Soundtrack of 2020 award, but now, after hearing all the great tunes in Paper Mario, I'm not so sure anymore. Here's one of my favorites. Enjoy. Warning, minor spoilers. Check this out. Beep. Minor spoilers for Paper Mario. If you don't want to show it on stream, feel free to just play the audio instead. Let respect Ben F. Again, these are 3 minutes long, so if you would like to enjoy the spoilers in its entirety, don't look at your monitor or click 3 minutes ahead. Ben Fitter, take it away. Lovely track. Those spoilers, though, really uncalled for, I thought. That cafe really kind of splits the game open, I imagine. Somebody who hasn't touched that game. Makes me hungry for a coffee shop in Animal Crossing, though. Kills me every single time I think about it.
Makes me hungry for a live show of anything. I want it's like, yeah, I miss it, man. I miss it hard.
Yeah.
Especially like, what, 10 years ago, 2010? Like, I was out like almost every night of the week at some small show.
We'll get back there. Slowly but surely. One day, gosh darn it, I will go to the Hollywood Bowl again. Boy, this summer. Ugh, a whole summer. And I know it's first world problems, but like a summer going by without once just popping into the bowl to hear whatever. You know, it's like, I'll be like, what, country music? Sure, it's the bowl. Let's do it. Here, not with country music, is Kevin Gillet. Hello, Jones and Blood. Isn't it nice to see the first signs of autumn in Animal Crossing? Also, I'm now excited for the Mario Deluge coming over the next few months. Didn't have time for much more, so went back to an old favorite, transcribing Zelda music by ear and replaying it through the Ocarina of Time instruments, like you do, as a fallback, you know, which is particularly pleasing to me when it means taking an originally fully orchestrated piece and demaking it. This time, you know what it's like to be demade. This time, my test subject was one of the boss themes from Skyward Sword. Enjoy the retro trip.
Jones.
Say what now? Sorry.
No, it just struck me. This now it feels like a stupid interruption. It just struck me as like, how weird is it that they're celebrating the 35 35.
Yeah.
Why is 35 a number to celebrate?
Oh, dude, if you're Disneyland every 5 years.
Sure,
Whee!
I guess.
Let's have a new parade. Woo! You know, yeah.
Okay.
As long as it's an even number, that's all. That's all that really needs to matter. Okay, cool. What were we doing? Oh, right. Quack Thias says Final Fantasy VI trench music vibes. I'm definitely here for that. Yeah.
I don't know if
Especially
chat heard you, but I did not hear that when you whatever you just said.
Oh, sorry. The Final Fantasy VI trench music vibes when you're underwater.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
Specifically the big the wind instruments in the way back. The big chorus of those. Extremely cool, Kevin. Thank you for that. Neato, onto our final category. Videos from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 different allies. Although I believe, hold on, let me make sure. I think Joseph Caruso was the one. No, somebody sent me a video that I didn't get, but they also sent me, I think Nick Gothic. Yes, Nick Gothic, you sent me a video I could not download. But you also sent me a piece of art that I could. That is very cool, and will probably be a thumb. Nick Gothic loves to sneak in and grab those thumbnails. Because if you draw a picture of the person in that chair below me, it's an easy way to do it. But kicking it off with Alexander Zirianov. Hello, Brandon and Blood. Do you like it when video games have bugs?
Yes. Heck yes.
So you do like it at the end of the day. After everything you've been through, Blood, with bugs, many, many more than I have ever had or could ever want, you still appreciate it at the end of the day.
There are so many times, Jones, when I tried to collect clips of bugs and put them in a folder and save them and try to make some kind of show out of it. It's hard to keep up with. It's hard to find those things and hang on to them and then do something interesting with them. And then things that you think are cool, then you look at them 3 months later and what was that? I also, behind the scenes little thing, 3 years ago, 3 years ago, probably, maybe before that. I used to listen through all of Jones's raw VO and look for bad takes. And I had a folder of I had a log. I was like trying to like keep those, but then it's like the raw VO is like 3 times as long as the final review and everything.
It became 20, 30 minutes.
Really hard.
Like, and believe it or not, even listening to yours truly gets a little old after a while. Well, Zirionov clearly loves the bugs. I love it for many reasons. Glitches can give you an insight on how video games actually work. They can introduce fascinating troubleshooting puzzles that will make you feel really smart upon completion. They can personalize your gameplay experience by making some parts much easier or much harder. And if the game isn't that good, entertaining bugs can be the only reason to keep playing. In May, I submitted a tribute to this aspect of video games, but I couldn't fit everything into 3 minutes and the bugs kept coming. So today, I present another collection of glitches from games I've played recently. Spoiler warning for the last game anyone wants to spoil right now, The Last of Us Part 2 and Xenoblade Chronicles. So, yoink. And apologies for occasional Russian language. Sometimes I play games dubbed.
Sure.
So yeah, Last of Us Part 2 spoilers coming up, everybody. So look out. 3 minutes long. If you want to bail now. I'll see you in 3 minutes. I don't know if this is Detroit Become Human spoilers.
I came to Jericho because here androids are free. Free to live in the dark.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Whoa!
Oh, yeah.
That happens, people float like you do.
The music too.
Ooh. I mean, that house is haunted, clearly.
Оружием, боеприпасами, рисом. В общем, все, что нужно для жизни на природе.
Yay!
Yes.
Oh, that's just a good shot. Nothing glitchy about that. Oh, I missed what that was. Nothing to see here. Move along, move along.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Wow.
Remastered my foot. Yeah. There it is. Ah. Oh no. I think I might have had something like that happen. I think I had to jump out the window to get out of that place.
Go! Get around them!
Just keep coming!
Whoa.
Yeah, look out. Whee!
Wow. You got a lot of them.
Yeah. Nope, that's it. I was like, did the glitch video glitch out? What's happening? All right. I think we're good on spoilers for the rest of the show. Michelle Jackson, who's not here to spoil us with anything. Well, spoil us with the game Michelle's making. Howdy, allies. The Unusuals demo is split into 2 halves that focus on each protagonist. Previous submissions have mostly shown Perenel's half, so I wanted to share something from Vincenzo's half. Sorry for all the awkward cuts. It was a bit tough getting the video under 3 minutes.
For sure.
Of course. lore is deep. A lot of characters to meet in this game. And I love how these are painted as gameplay updates, but they're really just flaunting the awesome music that's in this game.
Yeah, that was a music submission in many ways.
Come on now.
Not to minimize anything else, but
no,
yeah.
But I love. Hey, speaking of minimizing, I love the patterns that all the characters have as their actual like sprite, on the screen. Makes me wonder like what mine probably just be a bat signal. Be like, Jones, we can't do that. Don't have the licensing for that. Just like, I'll draw something else. Then I would just draw another bat signal. Happy Gaming. Hey there, Blood and Brandon. This month, I've been working hard getting capture and editing equipment all in order. I haven't had the drive to do podcasting as much as I have in the past, but have been wanting to get back into it and to start producing more video content to go alongside it. That reminds me, I also am not feeling podcasting lately, Blood. I'm just not. I gotta be honest. That Sunday post we do for tomorrow, I'm not... for this Sunday, we'll see. I know how you feel, Happy Gaming. Because I do all of this myself, it is fairly time consuming. I know, but I was able to get a complete review up for Detention, which you read my closing comments on last month. The video is a little over 6 minutes, so you'll have to cut me off. I definitely will, but I'm very happy with the results. I wanted to share it and hopefully get constructive criticism, if possible, for future videos. Love and respect, Brian from Happy Gaming. Brian, my first note would be keep it under 3 minutes. No, I'm kidding. Come on, XSplit. Scroll up. There we go. Bah. But I love the pause before you start talking.
As I crept through the dark, creaking halls of the abandoned Taiwanese school as student Fang Rei Shin, I was reminded that good horror doesn't come from what you see. True, there were a fair share of specters and creatures that I'd encountered. What continued to get under my skin wasn't the fear of death, though, but the haunting dread that pervaded from what could have been Rei's reality. The notes I found, and the hints and prods to the protagonist's life continued to creep through my mind like a spider, unraveling and revealing the reality of events that transpired, as a reminder that some of the best horror is gleamed from reality and everyday life. Red Candle Games is a very small studio in Taiwan, who have developed only 2 games. While Devotion has been delisted and made unavailable to the market outside their home country due to a political situation, at least for the time being, their first game, Detention, is widely available and shouldn't be missed. Set in 1960s Taiwan in a martial law period called White Terror, you'll play as protagonist and senior student Fang Rei Shin, who gets trapped inside her school due to a typhoon. Progressively, reality and the world begin to unravel, revealing a haunting past for the students of the school, and the horrible events happening around the period due to the martial law. While there is dialogue in Detention, most of the plot and backstory is unraveled through visual metaphors, or what one can glean from notes and objects left behind by other students. Making your way through the hollowed halls of the school that slowly becomes more and more decrepit and bizarre, alluding increasingly to the personal life of Rei, you'll venture through dark corridors, solve puzzles, and avoid Taiwanese spirits as they try to do you harm. For the most part, you'll spend the majority of your time focusing on the puzzles and directing yourself to where they'll apply to your forward progression, making a mental map of locked doors and rooms that require your personal input before progress can be made. In these puzzles, you'll find notes written by students and staff, exploring the sides of people who are trying to read forbidden books, or what forbidden relationships the staff at the school may have, but also showing the dark side of what can happen to these people when the country is under martial law. And those political horrors seep deeper than the fear we glean from the monsters that roam the halls. Personally, I wish that these creatures that you avoid were more plentiful. They can be found more in the game's first 2 acts and hardly at all in the third, making it feel like new ones aren't introduced as often as they could be.
3 minutes. Bam! The 3-minute banhammer. Yeah, that was Jesse brought up a good point, which is just a pop screen will take care of the you know, when the P's and the T's and the B's, when that stuff can pop a little bit. And my other thing that was like a tough lesson when I first started to do VO is, and granted, Happy Gaming, I'm familiar with their content, but I have not gone, devoured like a giant portion of it. But just because it is a horror game, you don't necessarily need to like sound creepy. You know, it can be easy when you're reading a themed something, you know, to kind of let yourself get kind of swept up in the nature of the game. But the opinion can still come across even if you're just like, hey, it's a horror game. You know, you don't necessarily like have to like, oh, I gotta be serious about this one. But then again, that's speaking to cadence, and that's something that I would be much more familiar with have I listened to a lot more of your stuff. But I love that intro. Love getting just a little taste of the game. You know, like I like when you hear it and see it for a second, and you're like, okay, now I know what this game's delivering. So if you talk over it, I can marry those two things. Good stuff, Happy Gaming. Eric Jackson. Hey, Brandon and Blood. Hope you're doing well. As per usual, the night before the showcase, and I've decided to throw a little something together. I'm currently the dungeon master for my group of friends. Don't worry, we are well and truly socially distant, and decided to tell a portion of the first part of their ongoing journey with character voices included. I hope you all enjoy. See if you can spot the subliminal messages I've subtly thrown in for good measure. And as always, love and respect.
Let me tell you the tale of the heroes of Saga and their ongoing exploits across the floating continent of Elantris. Milo, the braggart monk with a penchant for reckless behavior. Kyrite, the stoic hunter with a love of cooking. Warren, the excitable wizard with a hunger for knowledge. And Taliesin, the empathic bard choosing to catalog their story. Our journey began in the Jewel of the South, the city of Casoria, where our heroes were following a trail to track down Warren's old mentor, Maelor, the cerulean mage, as Maelor was perhaps the only living person with the answer to the question, why had the people of Pembroke been frozen in time for the last 300 years?
Good voices, dude.
This mentor had left Warren with a parcel and instructed him to seek out an old friend, a gnome by the name of Octavian Sill, who runs a humble shop focusing on objects of arcane interest, who provided the heroes with information as to Maelor's last known whereabouts. While in the town of Casoria, the party made friends with several figures, including Grotti Reskin, the head of the mercenary guild within Casoria, as well as Eucutus Cinderheart, a golden dragonborn and self-proclaimed greatest blacksmith in all of Elantris. From there, our heroes made their way to the town of Archdale, where they came into the company of Lord Isaac Avington, a recent inheritor of his father's throne, who had perished under curious circumstances. At Lord Avington's request, the party searched and discovered that it was Isaac's own mother, Lady Helena Avington, who was secretly a necromancer, and was seeking to overtake the throne of Archdale for herself.
Is anyone publicly a necromancer?
By the intervention of the party at the last minute, forcing her to flee into the night. With the necromancer of Archdale dealt with, the party continued their journey, passing beyond the waves of Rimmerock Cove, meeting a delightful naiad by the name of Aya, and coming to rest in the ruins of Carcosa, a long-abandoned capital from the First Age. It was here that the heroes explored much of the key feature of the city, the Arcanum of Light, where they faced many ancient traps and threats left by those who came before, and ultimately recovered not only several artifacts of interest, but a letter from Maelor requesting the party venture to the town of Darnek, far to the west, and seek out an ally of his, a so-called Merchant of Mirrors. Well, I'd say that's enough story for now, though there is much more to tell. Look forward to future tales of the heroes of Saga, and their ongoing quest to seek fame, fortune, and just a little bit of fun. Till then, good luck on the path.
Nice. I don't know, frankly, what was more shocking, the events that took place in this world of Saga, or the fact that Eric Jackson can't juggle for 3 minutes? Come on!
Yeah.
After all these videos, after all these highlights, all these awards, seeing the company that he shares with other really gifted jugglers in the world, I would have thought. 3 minutes, man. I'm kidding. I only give a hard time to people who are extremely committed to and deliver continually amazing things towards the showcase. Thank you very much, Eric. Jonesy, you try. I will. Gosh darn it. If I can produce a video of me just for 3 minutes, then I will have somewhere to stand with that argument. Oh, sorry. Little tease. Hello, Brandon and Blood from Justin Green. Since COVID hit, I've been stuck at home, so I've been started learning Unity and pixel art for fun. Here's a video game I've been working on. This shows the dialogue system. It might end up being the opening scene. There's still a bunch I want to change, but I'm pretty happy with it so far. Love these little dudes. Reminds me of After Party and the game they made before it, Oxenfree. Kind of same dialogue choices.
Got it. Oh, chosen one. Is this bread?
Hungry to blast those baddies, man. Absolutely wonderful, Justin. Yeah, the vibes in that was really great. I'm so down to just kick back and watch long conversations and all of the RPGs our community is making. Joseph Caruso, hey Blood and Jones and chat. In the past, I've shared footage of my brother cosplaying as Voldo from Soul Calibur at MagFest, but there was the perfect contest for him at the most recent event in January, a dance contest, and the MagFest YouTube page finally uploaded the footage of the contest a few weeks ago, so now I can see it and share it. This does include music, so I leave it up to you to decide if you want to mute it for the stream, but if you do, please unmute the video after the dance. At 1:45, it's Voldo's music, and it's in the actual scene, so it's very echoey. I think we'll be fine. But if you do, so you can hear the video game celebrity judges give comments. Thanks, and once again, I hope that one day you can attend MagFest one day. Next year is going to be Doom themed, but now they are thinking of doing a digital event, so you may be able to see the concerts live via a stream. That would be super cool. All right, Voldo.
We are calling Voldo.
Here to creep y'all out. Not sure what that music's from. Is that Voldo's theme? I don't think that's Voldo's theme. It's like 70% of the crowd is creeped out and the other 30% is like, no way.
So, on second place, Voldo.
Nice.
Give it up for Voldo, everybody. You know, the imagery based on a character, though, is so alarming. And yet, when you started working with the movement and the music and the dance style, they all blended so well together. It was kind of seamless. You were, like, incredibly bendy and flexible. And I don't know if you can see with that over your eyes how many jaws were dropping around here.
Do you have a red rubber ball in your mouth? I can't tell from here. Okay, you were a wonderful surprise, and I wrote wonderfully disturbing. It was fabulous, wonderful choreography. You have a great technique. I am very curious to see what else you would do. Fabulous work. I just want to say, I wrote that you were a sexy jellyfish. Like, you're so amazing.
All right, give it up for Voldo.
Sexy jellyfish. Only in the Easy Allies Community Showcase. Chris Park. Hey, Allies, this month's Fate/Geo or Fate/Go topic is vehicles for Bloodworth. Do you know about this game, Bloodworth? This is a mobile game in Japan, I believe, that is a bunch of famous characters from like all sorts of genres and walks of life. Apparently, you can put together a gameplay montage that suits every single ally from this crazy game. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of abilities crashing down on you that you are not prepared for. Apparently, they're vehicle themed.
Okay.
So we got Achilles and Lancelot here. So good. Oh, fake Grand Order. Thank you, Ken.
夏の思い出を作りましょうか。これが私のデジタルトラベルスクーター。まとうは血の色、息づくは夜、テスタロッサ、メイデン。これこそは我が高機動型大広間。水陸両用。ブライト、エハンドウェン。さあ、おいでなさい。私を守る聖堂の体、スピリトゥーターロー。お見事。
やるぞ、木馬。定めの化身、蹂躙の具現。せめて一撃で終わらせよう。トロイヤ・イポス。アバよ。
レッツケンボーパットゥー。
Oh, nice. Get your heart out, Don.
My name is Musashi Miyamoto!
Clean. Wow, there's nothing you can not frame one of those gameplay montages around. Like Billy the Kid is in that game. There's a lot of stuff going on there. Based in Victoria, hi Brandon and Blood. Since I have been literally gearing up for my digital and final year in my master's program, I haven't had too much time to write music over the past few weeks, but here are 2 little sound redesigns I did over the summer for practice. The first clip is from Overwatch's reunion short, while the other is a sound redesign of a really cool upcoming game called Arbiter by an indie developer by the name of Jordan Scott. Love and respect, Mason, Victoria. Good stuff. Love getting some sound design flexing on the showcase. Yeah, and it's also nice to see something that is so short and took so long for Mason Victoria to do. Just the fact, just one of those like little, 5 shots from a pistol and they sound a little bit different. It's so easy to just be like, oh, there's my gun sound. I'll just play that every time a gun happens. Let me go back to drawings because that might be where I put, hi there, where I put Nick Gothic's drawing. Maybe not. No. Hello everyone. This time I decided to be different and show you the short animated snippet I've worked on. Could not download it, Nick. Sorry. Hope you don't mind my strong northern English accent. Was not able to hear it. But you did give us something I can drop in here. I did not for some reason. Talk amongst yourselves. What did I do with that thing? Where is that? Maybe it's here. There it is. But yes, Blood's got the dollar. What is?
Oh, from when we did the play. Remember?
Oh, yes.
Kyle's last stream.
Yes, but there you go. I mean, there's again Nick Gothic just sweeping it, but I mean that's the thumbnail. Come on, folks. It's too good. It's even oriented on the right side of the frame. You can just see.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, and look at all of us. We're all like Damiani.
Lose a couple faces, but yeah.
Yep. Lose those faces. Focus on yourself. Up. Nope. I want you to go away. I want to go back to here.
Actually, there's enough space that I could probably trim them and pull them up.
All right, I will pass that along. And here we are at the end of the showcase. Made it in at only 2.5 hours, the showcase this time. But finally, from shout out to Yoko Taro. Hi, Johnson Bloodworth. I was thinking of giving these terrible regular submissions a name, like shout outs. But that's too good a name for what they are. Shout out to Yoko Taro. And I dig these because they are always about games that I do not know or know very little about. So
Mini Ninjas is a third-person action game from the developers of Hitman and Kane and Lynch, which demonstrates their years of experience in making kid-centric games. The goal is to stop an evil wizard from enslaving animals for his personal army, Eggman style, and further wreaking havoc on the planet at large. I love Mini Ninjas for what it is, a simple yet fun-to-play version of Sekiro with a charming atmosphere. There are a few bosses with simple mechanics and quick-time events, as well as a level where you use your hat as a snow sled to escape an avalanche. I picked it up during a Steam sale for $1.50 US, but there are some caveats. The game needs a separate download for the audio library, OpenAL, and if you want to use a non-360 controller, then you need the Xbox 360 controller emulator program. As you might expect, each character has a different fighting style, with advantages against certain enemy types. They also get unique special attacks, with some being noticeably more lethal.
Whoa.
Yeah, this is my guy right here.
The main character is the only one who can use magic. He begins with simple spells, such as a fireball, but can eventually summon a meteor shower. Another of the main character's spells allows him to possess animals. So,
Nice.
you can become a fox and find your own shrine, which automatically makes it better than Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah.
You can also become a deranged boar to demolish your enemies.
Great.
The game has quite a few unique animations, such as this collection of the various characters agitating an apple tree. I had a lot of fun revisiting Mini Ninjas. It's not a particularly long game, but that also means it doesn't overstay its welcome. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the shadows, Ninja.
Thank you for bringing super, super crazy games like that to our attention. And with that, we come to the conclusion of the Easy Allies Community Showcase for the month of September 2020. Again, how you can be a part of this. I'm going to do a very special thing right now to commemorate the end of the showcase, because I actually have the post up right now. You would want to go to patreon.com/easyallies for $10 and above. You get the $10 reward, which is to be a part of the showcase, but you also get everything on top of that. And I'm going to make this post now public. So if you go to patreon.com/easyallies, it's public now. You can go and check out a lot of the stuff if you want to see some of this art in high res. If you want to maybe follow some of these content creators, if you want to see what other videos that they've produced, whether music that they've written.
And that's tagged, right?
That stuff is tagged, yes.
Yeah, so
Patreon.
if you go to the top, there's like a bunch of tag options, and so that way you can filter the Patreon posts and not have to scroll past everything.
If you want to follow the incredible journey that we've been on with Michelle Jackson, the development of that game, all of these characters, all of the music, seeing it slowly come together, the style, the world, and following the juggling exploits of Eric Jackson, all sorts of other fun things. People jump in and out of the Easy Allies Community Showcase, but a lot of people show up to watch this every month, and at least one ally joins me for the showcase. Special thanks to Mr. Daniel Bloodworth for being a part of this month's showcase. So if you want to be a part of this, you would do that in the month of September. I will put up the post a week before September ends, and then usually the first week, if not immediately after that, of every month, we sit down to do the showcase. Michael Huber is on deck to join me. I usually don't have that name ready, but I made sure to check in with him and be like, would you be available for the October showcase, which,
oh yeah, I'm still blurry.
I'm not going to
say... I don't know if you have a different scene where I'm not blurry. But...
I'm not going to say I would have to set that up. And,
sure.
Yeah, you're blurry. Deal with it. I'm just not saying you have to do spooky things for October, but I love that October because of the spookiness. But I just love going through absolutely anything. There's always so many fun surprises, so many games that we learn about, experiences that we get to share with all of you, and it's such a darn good time. And don't need to do the screen share. Well, I do need to do screen share, because how do I mute Bloodworth without doing screen share? Only Blood can see that. Anyway, I'll figure this stuff out. Just be quiet. Blood, shh. Just be quiet when we wrap up. Don't say anything you don't want people to hear as we're wrapping up. Thanks so much, everybody, for watching, either watching it live or watching it after the fact. And thank you so much to everybody that submitted. This has been the Community Showcase. We'll see you next month. Thanks, Blood. Bye, everybody.